everyone, and welcome to day 3 of my horror movie review marathon, and I've got the Exorcism of Emily Rose movie review. With an exorcism gone wrong, a priest is put on trial and a lawyer has to defend him. What will be the verdict? So as far as the story goes, based on a true story, this is a debate of religious beliefs versus scientific evidence after the wrongful death of a girl getting an exorcism by a priest who was deemed negligent in the end. I had seen this movie quite a few times, and going back to seeing it, sometimes I felt like the story was hard to follow, but in retrospect, it does make you think about what happened, and that you, as an audience member, has to pick which side you choose to believe. However, this film didn't make me feel any smarter, especially when I can't imagine what kind of people were on this jury who had to pick a side, so why should an audience member have to figure out what the ending could be? I mean, this is based off of a true story after all. While I felt like close to the end of the film was slowing down, I still didn't feel like they explained a lot of why things happened to this girl in the first place. And you know, there might not be an answer for why any type of possession happens, but you never know. So as far as the casting goes, you've got Jennifer Carpenter, who I feel like is no stranger to the horror genre. I mean, she was in the movie Quarantine, which I reviewed it. She plays Emily Rose, who is this innocent girl with such a promising life, and she is turned into this possessed woman who plays this role convincingly. Surprisingly enough, it reminded me a lot of other exorcism type movies where you see her physical transformation, and it definitely shows in her work, and yet it is hard to watch at times, and I think that's what makes it even more brilliant. And I think she did a good job, at least for her part. You've also got Laura Linney, who plays the lawyer for the defense, whose faith gets tested, and she doesn't necessarily believe in a lot of things until things start to happen to her, or at least a lot of the things that are going wrong left and right are surrounding this case, surrounding this trial, and she has to make sense of all of these things while defending this priest. Tom Wilkinson plays Father Moore, who I think does a pretty good job. I love him as I love him as an actor. I'm a huge fan of his, and I think he does a really good job in this role. I really wish I saw a lot more of him instead of him recounting exactly what happened the day of the exorcism, because I know he can do a lot better. Not that I didn't find his role to be convincing enough or believable. I just felt like I wanted to see more. Let's not even begin to talk about that prosecutor, who is a real mean piece of work. Just saying. So the things that I liked about this movie was that an hour into the film, I really felt like I started to lose my mind the most watching this movie, because it was just absolutely insane and intense. I really felt like biting my nails. And then later on, when they were playing the tape of the exorcism, and then you start to see that scene unfold at the same time, it was terrifying to watch for the most part, so I could definitely see why this movie would be scary to some people. Unfortunately, the things that I didn't really like about this movie was that, with the exception of a couple of far-fetched acting scenes and a few things that it just seemed really weird when certain things were popping up left and right, and they were trying to scare you with those, but there were no jump scares for me for those scenes in particular, and at times it does play out like one of those horror reenactments on TV that you see for those like paranormal witness shows, and for a movie like this, quite frankly, some of the scary moments are like I said, really not that terrifying to me, and I don't know if it was just an effects thing, but it just all looked pretty silly. So overall, I would say that The Exorcism of Emily Rose was at least a decent movie, but I feel like it definitely failed in certain aspects, and although I've seen it a million times, I would still recommend seeing it. I still think you could get scared by it, but I don't know how long those scares would last. So I would give this 2.5 hearts on the heart rate scale. So let me know in the comments what you guys thought of The Exorcism of Emily Rose, and come back tomorrow for day 4 of my horror movie review marathon. And as always, you guys can subscribe to my channel. I've got more movie reviews, movie updates coming every week for a Child Thursday video. You guys can also like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter, and I will see you guys later.